All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to one of my videos. So this is probably going to be a boring video for most of you out there, but I just picked up this 2021 KTM 500Exc-F 6 days model, and it's got a ton of aftermarket parts on it. So I thought it'd be a fun video, just kind of go over all the parts, everything this bike has done to it. And then if you care, at the end of the video, I'm going to share my opinion on why I think these bikes are so great. So let's check it out. And I had been wanting another Supermoto ever since I sold the last one that I had. And I knew it was going to cost me a ton of money if I ended up buying a brand new bike and then having to buy the wheels for it. Not to mention all the other aftermarket parts that I'd want for it. So I think I got this bike for a really, really good price, especially considering how much money the previous owner spent. And he bought most of the aftermarket parts from tacomoto.com. And over here with me, I actually have the packing slip for all those parts. And there's about 7 pages total, 33 parts overall. And that's not including all the parts that are on this bike. And I'm not going to attempt to memorize the exact name of all the parts and the prices. So I'm just going to put some screenshots up in the video as we go along. So starting off the bike, as you can see, it's currently set up with Supermoto wheels and tires. So these are Warp 9 wheels wrapped in Dunlop tires. And then this bike, as you probably saw at the beginning of this video, came with the dirt tires and wheels, or the stock ones anyways. So the owner did convert these to a tubeless setup. He put this aftermarket sprocket on there, and then he even went to town and put titanium sprocket bolts on this thing. And then throughout the bike, he actually bought a titanium bolt kit. So I mean, all the bolts on this bike are titanium essentially. So we got the FMF full exhaust on here. And then this bike does have a Recluse auto clutch. He even put this aftermarket oil filler bolt on there. We got the hammerhead brake lever on there. Aftermarket foot pegs. We have the rotor guard and the caliper guard. And then it's got this basically fender eliminator on it. I think it's like the Tacomoto brand with the Enduro plate. It's kind of cool, it flips up. Then we have the C-Concept seat on here. And then we have this big oversized IMS fuel tank. Then I already unbolted the seat, so I'll just go ahead and pull that off real quick. So in here, we have this lithium battery. And then this bike does have an aftermarket ECU. So this is the Athena Get ECU. And so with that comes this switch up here on the bars. So there's 2 maps, as far as I understand. I think the previous owner said one of the maps is about 50 horsepower, and then the other one is close to 65 to 70 horsepower, I believe. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. And then with this ECU, it actually has traction control. And then this switch is extra. It doesn't come with the ECU kit, but there's 10 different levels of traction control. And then I guess while we're up here on the bars, so we got some ODI lock-on grips, aftermarket brake lever, aftermarket clutch lever there. It does have this aftermarket mirror on there as well. I installed this. So stupid. And we do have an aftermarket multifunction bar switch. We do have these hand guards on here. And then I forgot to mention the Pro Taper Evo bar. And then over here, obviously this guy's aftermarket too. But we do have a Scott's steering stabilizer. And I believe this came with a kit with this bar mount. But I do know that this cable guide was extra. I saw it on the list, but there's like a little knob or clicker. You have this mount here. And then there's actually a wedge mount as well on top of that is extra. All for the Trail Tech Voyager Pro. So I haven't had a lot of time to really mess with this and go through it, so I am not knowledgeable on it at all. But as you can see, we got the tachometer there, we got the speed. I think it shows the bike temperature as well as the outside temperature, and there's different screen, so like GPS. I think you can even connect your phone to this thing too. So yeah, all sorts of stuff that is kind of new to me. So I'll have to do some more research and learn more about it. Then moving on to the front of the bike here. So shut the bike off real quick. So we have the Baja Designs headlight, and I think this came with kit as well, and it comes with this headlight mask. But then there's actually another piece behind that is extra as well to mount everything. So there's that guy there. And then we do have the Supermoto wraparound LED turn signals on the front of this bike. And then this bike does have aftermarket radiator guards. Moving down here, we got this shift lever. This bike does have a countershaft seal upgrade on it as well. And then we have a different fuel filter. And then this bike has the Supermoto smog delete kit on it. And then I believe it also has a crankcase breather hose bypass kit on it as well. And one other thing that I can't quite remember. And then we do have an aftermarket air boot on there. This one is unrestricted compared to the factory one. As you can see, I already took out the filter. I think this is another kit from Supermoto that comes with this twin air filter and this aluminum cage and a few other things. And then you can't tell, but on the parts list, it also says this bike has a twin air power flow throttle body kit on it as well. And then down here, we have the Warp 9 Supermoto kickstand. Obviously, when you put the shorter Supermoto wheels on, the stock kickstand is too tall. And then one thing I forgot to mention is this bike did come with this aftermarket DID chain, so that is going to be going on the bike as well. And that's pretty much going to do it as far as aftermarket parts goes on this build. Now, I don't know the exact dollar amount that was spent on parts. The bike itself, the previous owner did mention that he had a shop install a lot of these parts. So labor is a factor as well in the total overall cost. The total dollar amount I got for just parts alone was close to $11,000, and that's without sales tax. The owner did purchase this bike right at the beginning of the season in 2021, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that he paid all the fees, you know, like the dealer dock fee, the setup fee, the freight fee. You know, just me doing some rough math for the parts, the bike itself, and tax, I came up with close to $27,000 if you were to replicate this build. And then obviously that's not including labor if you were going to have a shop do any of this, which I would just do all of it myself. But in the previous owner's case, like I mentioned, it sounded like he paid to have a shop install most of these parts. But just in case you're watching this video because you are in the market for one of these bikes or thinking about building a Supermoto, I'll share some of the things that I like about riding one of these bikes with the Supermoto wheels. So right away, after getting on my first Supermoto, I just felt super comfortable riding it. You know, you're in a more upright position. I feel like you have a better, you know, kind of view of what's going on around you in traffic. These bikes are pretty light. You can kind of whip them around. You do get to ride these bikes, I feel like, to their full potential. You get to shift through all the gears and really just enjoy all the power that it has to offer. Not to mention, if you dropped one of these bikes like in your garage or at slow speed, there's going to be very minimal damage, if anything, really. Also with these, insurance is very cheap. So insurance for full coverage on this bike is $38 a month for me with my record, me being 30 years old now. But yeah, super cheap as far as insurance goes. And these bikes are just a blast to ride. I just really enjoy it a lot. Anyways, I'll stop rambling on now, but if you made it this far in the video, I'd like to say thank you, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.